The eCom Seller Summit was created to prove that with the right tools and training, anyone and everyone can make money in e-commerce. So many people want to try their hand at e-commerce, selling on eBay, Amazon, Shopify, and more, but they're afraid they won't be successful. This summit will show you that there's many ways to do e-commerce, and there are many platforms you can explore, because e-commerce really has no limits. It really can pay your bills, and e-commerce never sleeps. There's nothing like waking up to profits from getting sales all night long. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the eCom Seller Summit. Hello, this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and today our key feature speaker is J.R. Cagle. So J.R. I consider a genius when it comes to retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, with his specialty being Target. And he is going to share with us some amazing content. So go get your notepad and pen and let's get started. So JR, the floor is yours.
Excellent. All right. Well, good evening, guys. Coming to you here from California in my office. We're going to talk some retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, a little bit of wholesale tonight. I've got a PowerPoint for you. So I guess we'll go ahead and jump into that. All right. Let me pull this bad boy up. All right. Up. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I just titled it $1 Million Wholesale RA.
It's not sharing. So it's not sharing just yet. You have to.
No. Let me.
Okay.
Hold on.
We're almost there.
Okay. Let me know what I need to click share, I'm assuming?
Yeah, you need to click share.
All right. Cool. All right. Let me do this. Share screen. Share screen. And your entire screen. That's fine. Okay. Why is it not doing that? Application window. I wondered, it's not giving me the option there. Let me try application window. It's not allowing me to click on share. Oh, okay, never mind. I see why. There it goes. Okay.
There you go. I got you now.
All right, let's try this again. All right. Okay. We got it now?
We do. We absolutely.
All right. Very good. All right. So I titled this $1 Million RAOA, which is obviously retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, plus a little bit of wholesale. And I've got my contact info for you there. If you are looking for me on Facebook, make sure you find the one with my face, not the one with me on a tennis court, because the one with my face is my business one, and that's the one I actually look at. My other one I rarely look at. So let's get started here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself really quick. I'm not going to spend a lot on that because you guys aren't here to hear about me. You're here to learn, understandably so. But I also want to give you guys some inspiration with my story. So first of all, right now I'm a 7-figure-a-year seller, but it wasn't always that way. When I started this business, I just started part-time while I was a high school math teacher. And I was a high school math teacher for 8 years, 8 long years, and I wanted out. But I started small and I built this business up bit by bit, part-time, which I really recommend. I don't recommend you jump into this full-time until you've got basically some experience under your belt. You want to give yourself time to grow and time to learn it first. Now, understand too, I am not a tech-savvy person. I just learned how to do screenshots on a PC like last month. I didn't know what Google Sheets were until about 2 years ago. I'm just not tech savvy. I'm really not, which is really ironic given my line of work. But my point I want to make is don't let that be an excuse that holds you back. If you think you have to be tech savvy to sell online, I assure you, you do not. If you did, I would not be talking to you right now because I wouldn't be in business. I'm an idiot when it comes to tech. I'll flat out admit it. So don't feel like you got to be tech savvy to do this business because you don't. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I started small when I did this. I was selling a little bit here and there. I'd have a few sales every day. My first true December, I did a whopping 4,800 in sales approximately, which now that's absolutely nothing. And that was my whole month of December. And I was proud of that at first. But that's the thing. We all start small. And that's where I was. So I was once small, just like some of you guys watching this are. And that's okay. We all have to start somewhere. that $4,800 for a whole month of December that I was proud of way back then, I do more than that in a day sometimes now in non-quarter 4 months. I've had multiple days this year already that were more than that in one day. So the point being, it's okay to start small, but if you just stick with this and you grow bit by bit by bit, you'll be amazed at what kind of numbers you can put up. I mean, my first year doing this, my first true year, I don't even know if I did $100,000. And now I'm doing over 1 million, but it's because I stuck with it and I grew year by year by year. And that's what you got to do in this business. And I'm constantly learning and evolving my business. You have to be, because if you're not, other people are going to overtake you. And this, frankly, may pass you by. You've got to constantly be changing and adapting, but do it slowly. You don't have to make astronomical leaps of 100% increases year after year. Shoot for small increases. That's what I do. A 15, 25% increase year over year. Constantly make it a point to learn and constantly make it a point to grow. Now, I'll show you my sales here. I do this not to brag or anything, because there are people out there that blow me out of the water. I've seen someone who had 15 million in sales in one year. That's more than 10 times my numbers. So while I do nice numbers, I'm fully aware there are people out there that blow me out of the water. But I'm a big believer in transparency. And as someone who's been to many seminars, whether it's stock market, real estate, online stuff, one thing I've always disliked is there's a very big lack of transparency. The speakers will tell you that they make good money or this or that, but they don't really ever show you any numbers. There's never really any proof or transparency. And that's always kind of bothered me. So I'm a big believer in being transparent, and I'll show you my numbers. This is a screenshot I took today because we're recording this. And today is, not December, February 17th. So what I did is I did a screenshot of my sales from February 17th of 2020 to yesterday, February 16th of 2021. As you can see, I did, over 1.4 million in sales. Not bad given that I started out just doing a few sales a day. Now, another important thing, and I know when it comes to transparency, a lot of people throw out numbers, but I know a lot of people wonder, oh, okay, that's great, but how much did you actually make? Because that's what really matters. Sales numbers are sexy, but they don't mean anything in and of themselves. What really matters is how much you make. I've got a buddy who did $2.6 million in sales one year and still made nothing after all his expenses and everything. So sales numbers are nice, but what really matters is profit. And I'll show you that. If you want to see what my numbers look like, just to give you an idea, yeah, there you go. It's right there on the screen. So with the 1.4 million in sales there, that's about a 16.8% return or ROI, or 16.8% profit, basically. But keep in mind, a lot of people don't really know their numbers. Your numbers are generally not as high as you think. Most people overestimate their numbers. You've got to factor in everything and know your numbers. You've got refunds to account for. You got boxes, you got tape, you potentially have employees, you potentially have an office or a warehouse, you got internet, all kinds of expenses. And you've got to take those into account. And so many people don't. And I see this all the time where people are just selling stuff way too cheap and they're just not making money. So you got to know your numbers in this business. And anyway, like I said, there are mine right there. Now, you may be wondering too, with retail arbitrage, okay, well, where's a good place to source, or what's a good category to source? Well, I'll show you where I source. If you look at that bottom screenshot, you'll see my top 8 suppliers. As you can see, Target is where I source the most. It made up over 28% of my revenue. So I source the heck out of Target, but I source a lot of different places. Costco, for instance, is a fantastic place to source. I love sourcing there. That's why it's my number 2 source. Some of the other names you guys will recognize, CVS and Walgreens, for instance, great places to source. And I think a lot of people don't really know that. Bed Bath & Beyond, I got recently turned on to, and it would have been up there higher had I sourced it more, but I just recently found out what a gold mine Bed Bath & Beyond is. So you can see Walmart's on there too. I'm honestly not a big fan of Walmart, but I do source there. So there is money to be made there. And as far as categories go, as you guys can see, grocery is by far and away my biggest category. I sell the heck out of groceries. It's a great category to sell. There's a ton of opportunity. And if you've never sourced grocery, you would be amazed what people pay online for various different things. Toys are what I used to only source. I still source them, I still sell them, but mainly at Q4. And if you've never sold in the beauty or health and beauty categories, there's a lot of money to be made there too. People spend good money on that stuff, and there's big demand. So, anyway, there's some transparency for you guys if you're wondering what kind of numbers I do and where I source. I don't mind showing that. I'm a big believer, like I said, in transparency. So, having said that, let's get on with it. I wanted to start by first giving you guys some advice because your mindset in this business is so very important. And I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people don't succeed is they don't have the right mindset. Um, you've got to know it's not just about what you know, but it's also about the way you approach things. So let me just give you some advice here as someone who started small and has made a nice income in this business. First of all, I really recommend you start with just one platform. And I don't care if it's Amazon, eBay, Walmart, or whatever. Obviously, I'm heavy on Amazon. I just started on Walmart. eBay, I've sold on before. That's actually where I started. I'm not a big fan, but you can still make money on eBay. But don't try to do all kinds of platforms at once. Get the hang of one before you jump onto another. If you try to do all these platforms at once, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it may be a logistical nightmare for you. So I really recommend start with one platform, get the hang of it, then advance. Just like with categories on Amazon, learn a category, get comfortable in it, then go ahead and add another category. Another thing too, if you are new to this, don't feel like you have to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. But what you do have to do in this business is you've got to take action. Don't let it hold you back because you don't think you know enough yet. Look, when I started, I made all kinds of stupid mistakes. I look back on now, it's just like, oh, dude, what was I doing? But that's how the business works. You learn when you take action. Yes, you want to learn from books and talking to people, but you've got to get out there and take action because if you don't take action, you're not going to make any money. So don't feel like you have to be perfect before you get started in this business. Now, another important thing too is, and I'm assuming for the sake of argument right here that you're a beginner, but I am going to talk about some stuff that applies to intermediate and advanced also. But understand, you're not going to get rich overnight in this business on online sales. It's a slow and steady race. It's not a get rich quick scheme. If you think you're going to get rich overnight, you're going to be disappointed. If you think you're going to start out and, make $250,000 or $1 million a year, there's about a 99.9% chance you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, you might get really lucky and hit it hard on a product that's a private label product or something, but that's the rare exception, not the rule. You've got to treat this as a business because that's what it is. It's a business. And you want to grow it year by year and understand you won't get rich overnight and you might not get rich, period. But you may make a nice income and get to be your own boss. And that is an important and very nice thing. Another thing I see is the negativity can really get to people. You've got to guard your mind in this business because there's all kinds of negativity out there, especially on the internet. If you go out there looking for it on the internet, you'll find all kinds of reasons of people telling you why this or that won't work or how retail arbitrage is dead. You hear that every year, which is absolute nonsense. Or, why you can't make money on Amazon anymore because of the fees and da da da. That's nonsense. I mean, there's all kinds of negativity out there. You've really got to guard your mind and not let the negativity get into your head. You'll even have relatives and such that may give you that negative, oh, you're nuts, that won't work. You got to guard your mind. I can assure you this does work, but you've got to stick with it. You've got to learn, and you've got to understand it's not always easy. It's a simple business, but it's not always an easy business.
Okay, so I just want to say that is pure gold. Of all, you gave us some great advice so far. That one is gold. I need everybody to remember that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons I stay off Facebook largely is there's so much negativity. I mean, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. There's just negativity. And there's too much negativity in the world, but that's another story. But anyway, guard your mind. So that being said, also in this business, make sure you are always learning. It's so important. If I was not constantly improving and constantly learning, I don't know if I'd be in business anymore because my original Amazon basically business was go to Toys R Us, scan products, put in cart, and sell on Amazon. Well, that worked way back in the day. It doesn't really work well today, aside from the fact Toys R Us is basically extinct. It's just things have changed. There's more competition, there are higher Amazon fees, what have you. So you've got to always be learning and improving. But once again, as I mentioned earlier, don't use that as an excuse to not take action. You got to do both. You're going to make some mistakes. That's okay. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. Understand too, in this business, you got to have some guts. There is risk and there is frustration, just like there is in any business. There are days I am frustrated. I want to strangle a customer or seller support or seller performance. Um, there are certainly days where this is a frustrating business. It's a good business, don't get me wrong, but there are days where it's very frustrating. And there is risk. I mean, you've got to make smart choices, because if you don't, you can lose money. There is an element of risk, but you've got to be willing to accept that and understand that you are going to have certain frustrations. So understand that if you're going to do this business. A few more things. Um, don't be afraid to ask questions. It amazes me how many people are afraid to ask questions. I saw it when I was a teacher in high school, and I still see it today. But I don't care if you're on Facebook or in a group of people or whatever, ask questions. That's how you learn. People in this business tend to be willing to help. I'm very willing to help. I don't mind answering questions. Um, I really slowed my progress down early on because I didn't have a community to plug into. I didn't have anyone to ask questions to for the most part. I did take coaching through Skip McGrath and then through Jim Cockrum. And so I had a coach helping me. But even then, it was limited contact. I didn't have a community to just ask questions 24/7. That's a powerful thing to have. So get plugged in and don't be afraid to ask questions. And also, don't be embarrassed to admit you're small or new if you are. All of us have been there before. Even if you're intermediate and you're intimidated by other people's numbers, don't be. We can only be where we are right now. Like I said, there are people that blow me out of the water. And I hope to be that $15 million a year seller one day. And even if I make it to that point, I'm sure there'll be someone doing $50 million that puts me to shame. It's just the nature of the business. You're always going to have people bigger than you. So don't be embarrassed to admit where you are, even if you are new or small. And as I've already mentioned before, but I want to harp on this because it's so important. Make it a goal to consistently or constantly improve every single year. You've got to in this business. Things are always changing. The economy changes. Amazon rules change. Amazon fees change. Trends change. You've got to constantly be improving, and you've got to constantly be staying on top of this business. And I think this may be my last point on advice before we move on. For the love of goodness, know your numbers. You would be amazed how many people don't know your numbers. I see this all the time. I look at an item and I know what that item costs. And you've got someone who's selling it like a $2 or $3 profit before you factor in all the other expenses, such as refunds, boxes, tape, poly bags, and anything else.
You have to repeat that.
Yeah.
Know your numbers. Know
Yes.
your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your
Right.
numbers.
Yes, it's so easy to think, okay, well, I'm going to use an Amazon app or Profit Bandit or whatever. Okay, here's the sell price. Here's my buy cost. So there's my profit. No, that is not your profit. You have so many other things to factor in, such as shipping and all the things I just mentioned. So don't overestimate your profit. You've got to learn your numbers. So many people don't. And if you don't know your numbers, that's a great way to not make money, or worse yet, lose money. I could do a whole seminar on knowing your numbers, but we don't have time for that. And that's not what this one's about. So let's move on. All right. Why I love retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So let me just go over the reasons I love this and why I keep coming back to it over and over and over again, even though I probably should be doing a lot more wholesale. All right. First of all, it's simple. And that's one thing I like about this business is it is a simple business. It's not always easy, but it's simple. In other words, like, you don't need a high school diploma to do this business. You certainly don't need a college degree. You don't have to be computer smart. You don't have to be good at math. Now, granted, I do have a college degree in math, but you don't have to do this business. I mean, you literally could be without a high school diploma. as long as you can do elementary school math and basic, yes, I said basic because I'm an idiot when it comes to tech. I will admit this. Basic computer stuff, you can do this business. It's simple. It's not always easy, but it's simple. That's the beauty of it. You don't need a PhD. You don't need an IQ of 150. It's inexpensive when you do retail and online arbitrage. You don't need to go to a wholesaler and order $5,000 worth of product or order 20,000 from China. You can walk into a store doing retail arbitrage or a website, go to a website. You obviously wouldn't walk into one, with $100 or less, buy some inventory and sell it on a platform, be it Amazon, Walmart, or whatever. I mean, really, you could walk into a store with $5 and retail arbitrage something if you want. So that's nice because a lot of people don't have a lot of income to play with or to start with. And with retail and online arbitrage, there's a very, very, very low entry point. You can start with basically almost nothing. So that's a nice thing there. Possibly my favorite part about retail and online arbitrage is you can literally buy below wholesale if you do it right. And I'm going to show you how we do it right here in a little bit. And I'm going to give you some examples. But that's powerful right there because understand wholesale isn't always the cheapest. You'd be surprised. Sometimes wholesale is not that much cheaper than retail. Another nice thing too, and if you've ever dealt with a wholesale company or sourcing from China or what have you, then you understand this. But you don't have to worry about placing orders. Now, for this one, I'm talking about retail, not online arbitrage. But you don't have to worry about placing orders and then having them potentially be wrong or paying freight. I've had this happen. It's very frustrating when you do a $5,000 order and you get the wrong item. It's very frustrating when you find a good selling item and it looks profitable, then you realize that freight is going to kill your profit. And these are, downfalls of stuff like wholesale sourcing from China. Don't get me wrong, those are both still great things, but they do have their downfalls. So it is nice when you do retail arbitrage to have the item right there and not have to worry about placing an order. Another nice thing about retail arbitrage is you get your product right then and there. You don't have to wait for it to arrive. You don't have to wait, a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, what have you. You can get it right then and there. You could literally list it in the store if you want. And you could even literally have it sold while you're still in the store before you even leave. So it's nice to get your product right then and there because you don't have to wait for it. And you don't have to worry about, well, is the price going to tank on Amazon by the time I finally get this? So this is nice to get it right then and right there. Speaking of getting it right then and right there, another nice thing is you get to see your product in person because when you're ordering from online arbitrage or wholesale or whatever, the item you see in the catalog or on the screen may not actually be the item you get. And that can provide problems for obvious reasons. But when you're doing retail arbitrage, you got to see the product right there. You know what you're getting. There's no doubt in your mind what you're getting. So you can easily match it up with something on Amazon, or if you were planning on making a listing for it, once again, you know what you're getting. There's no surprise there. So having said that, let's talk about the right way to do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. I did it the wrong way for a long time, and it worked when I started in this business about 8 years ago, when I started full time, that is. But things have changed over the years, and if I was still doing it the way I was, I don't know if I'd be in business anymore. So there are 3 ways to potentially search for your product. Now, the first way is what I did when I started. I would just scan barcodes. And back, 8 years ago when there was less competition and far less Amazon fees, this worked. You could make decent money doing that. You still can, don't get me wrong. I scan barcodes all the time. It's mildly effective, but it's the laziest way. And you're going to miss a lot of opportunities if you limit yourself to just doing this. Back when I started, I thought basically the barcode had to match the item. So if the barcode I scanned didn't match the item on Amazon, I was like, well, darn. I guess that's no good. Move on to the next item. Well, that's not necessarily the case. So, yeah, scan barcodes, but don't limit yourself to that. I missed out on so many opportunities because that's all I did. So don't limit yourself to scanning barcodes. The visual search, well, that's with the Amazon app where you just do a visual scan. That's a nice little function. It'll show you things that the barcode scan will not. It'll show you bundles, it'll show you multi-packs, it'll show you items that won't necessarily pop up under their barcode, either because maybe someone put in a different barcode or it's got multiple barcodes. So visual search is nice. It'll get results that a barcode scan won't, but it's far from perfect. The best way and the final way is to reverse source. And all that really is just using keywords and doing an actual search on the seller app, the buyer app, or Amazon.com itself. And this is what really took my business to a new level back when I learned it. And this is the best way. So let's talk about how to do that. I'm going to get a quick drink. 1 second.
So I just have to say, all of the things that he gave you at the beginning, where he's talking about, things that you have to keep in mind, some advice. Those were all gold. All the advice was gold. And then some of the other things that he talked about after, like, this is a lot of great information. I agree 100% with what he's saying, because I started off doing retail arbitrage the same way that most people do, just basically scanning. So he's going to talk about reverse sourcing. He's back from his drink, so let's keep it going.
All right, my apologies for that quick little break. All right, so let's talk about how to reverse source. And understand that all reverse sourcing really is just using keywords. So let's talk about this here. We want to use terms that go with whatever item it is we are either looking to see, if it's in the Amazon catalog, or if we're thinking about selling. And most of these are obvious terms. Let's see here. Nicole, can you see me or just my screen?
I can see you and your screen together.
Good. Okay, good, because I want to use a prop right now.
Okay.
All right. So
I can see both. I can see I can see your PowerPoint. Okay. Yes, okay. I see you.
All right. So take this guy, for example. The keywords for something like this would be obvious. You got Dove, you got springtime mix, you've got milk chocolate, dark chocolate, what is it, caramel chocolate or caramel milk chocolate? What else could we say on this guy? We've got a size, I believe it's 22.6 ounces. So there are various keywords right there. Like I said, most of the keywords are obvious, but it's important that we think about the keywords that go with the item. Oh, another one would be Easter, because it's Easter candy. So some of the keywords, like I said, are obvious, but we want to think about things like brand. Well, in this case, the brand was obviously Dove, and there are countless brands, whether it's Nerf, Neutrogena, Hershey's, or whatever. So when we're using keywords to search for our item, obviously brand is a big one we want to use. Size. There are all kinds of sizes. You can have weights like 8 ounces or 1 pound. If you're doing sheets or blankets, you may have something like twin, full, king, or queen. If you're doing something like shampoos and conditioners, great sellers, by the way, you may have something like fluid ounces, like 33.8 fluid ounces, and so on. Going back to the example I just showed you guys, if you just type in something like Dove 22.6, that listing might pop up. Sometimes it's that simple. Another way we use keywords is the variation, like what's the flavor, what's the version or the character. So going back to the example I just showed you guys, the flavors could be like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, caramel. The version is springtime mix. Obviously, there's not a character, but maybe if you were selling toys, you might have something like, say, Chase, Rubble, Marshall, what have you, Paw Patrol characters, for those of you who don't know. What season? Is it a Christmas item? Is it an Easter item? What have you? So there are all kinds of ways we want to think about keywords. We want to think about what the buyer is searching for. And that's where the keywords come in. And that's what we're going to play with, are different keywords. So we want to use different phrases or keyword phrases, including different orders. So say I was looking to see if this guy's in the Amazon catalog that I just showed you. By the way, it is. But let's just say we didn't know that. And I was looking for listings that have this particular item, whether it's a bundle or just the single. There are all kinds of keyword phrases I could use, like Dove springtime mix, Dove milk chocolate, Dove Easter candy. Or we could change the order around, like Easter candy Dove, or Dove eggs, or you guys get the idea. Dove 22.6, Dove Easter candy 22.6, what have you. So the different phrases and different orders are going to yield us different results. And that's how we do this reverse sourcing. And we're looking either to find if the item is in the catalog or good bundles we could list on, or we're just looking to see if we can find some good selling items that are selling at a high price on Amazon. And that's part of why I've had so much success in this business is I'm constantly reverse sourcing. I'm constantly looking and scanning on Amazon, looking for those items that are selling at an inflated price because those are your money makers. And that's how you do this. You just constantly play with keywords and look for good listings, or you look for items that are in demand. Now, another little tip that I didn't learn until a few years back, I found it out by accident. But the seller app, which I know a lot of you guys may use, and I use it all the time for Amazon, it's useful. Don't get me wrong. You can scan stuff. You can do a visual search, what have you. You can do a reverse search. But to be honest, the seller app misses a lot of opportunities. Sometimes it just gives you some really weird results that just aren't very good, honestly. If you want to get the best results, use the buyer app for Amazon, or if you're at a computer, go to Amazon.com. You're going to get better results that way. You're going to get results the seller app won't show. And also, another very important but overlooked thing is you get to see what the buyer sees. And this is important because we're selling to the buyers. We need to know what is the buyer seeing when they type in a search, because we want to make sure we're at the top of that search. We want to make sure we're using relevant terms. Buyers are going to buy usually one of the first things they see. They're not going to go through page after page usually. So we need to know, what is the buyer seeing? That is so powerful.
Yes, that is actually gold, guys. So write that down. If you didn't write that down, write that
Yeah,
down. You need to do
one
that.
thing. Yeah, one thing you need to understand there is buyers aren't usually sourcing necessarily for a bargain. They'll buy one of the first things they see. And I do this all the time. You'll see, say, a 1-pack is selling for $10, but a 2-pack is selling for $25. And for the longest time, I couldn't understand why someone would buy a 2-pack for $25 when the single was $10. And then I finally realized it. It's what they're seeing early in their search, and they're not seeing the other stuff. So even with sizes, like I'll see it all the time. Like a 3-pack of 8-ounce candy is selling for more than a 4-pack of 10-ounce candy. It seems like the weirdest thing on the surface, but this happens because buyers are lazy. They'll buy one of the first things they see. They'll only try 1 or 2 keyword phrases. And if you can get your item in front of their face early, even if you're not the best price compared to other items, they'll still buy. I see it all the time. So keep that in mind
That is so
because,
true. That is so
yeah,
true.
yes. And that's a very powerful truth in this business.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Yep. Now, another very important aspect to understand in this, just like real estate, just like the stock market, you make your money when you buy right. So, the way I look at this business is different than a lot of people. I'm not necessarily going into a store or a website looking to buy a certain item. I want to know what I can buy cheap. Sometimes I got the terrible, in my opinion, advice when I started to sell something you're interested in or find that niche that you like. Well, yeah, it's great if you can, but that's terrible advice in my opinion, because I sat there and spun my wheels and didn't do anything because of that advice. When I started and had success, I was selling kids' toys. I didn't have a passion for those. I didn't know anything about them. I learned them by just scanning item after item after item. I walked into Toys R Us, it's like, whoa, what is this? Um, so don't I really advise you, don't necessarily look for an item you like. I mean, if you can sell an item you like, fantastic, but ultimately you may not be able to. So look for what you can buy cheap and then sell at a profit. It really is that simple. So the way I approach this is simply this. I let the stores and the websites tell me what to buy. In other words, I want to see what's on sale, what's on clearance, what has coupons for it. And to be clear, by coupons, I'm not talking about cutting out coupons in the Sunday paper. I don't do that. I use digital coupons or coupon codes. But that's what I'm looking for. I want to know, what can I buy cheap today at this store website? Because if you buy cheap or you buy low, you almost can't help but make money. So that is such a key point here. Look for the items you can buy cheap. That's how you make your money. If you buy cheaper than your competition, you're going to beat your competition. So, how do we do this? Well, one of the ways is we've got to know our weekly store sales, coupon specials, and other discounts. So these can change from week to week. Different things are on sale one week. There are different specials one week than another. There are different coupons one week, all kinds of different discounts. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. But we need to know these things so we know when there's an opportunity to buy cheaply. And having said that, a store or a website can be hot one week and cold the next. What I mean by that is when it's hot, there's a great sale or sales or promotion going on, and you can sit there and just buy the heck out of certain items and make all kinds of profitable buys. Well, maybe that lasts for a week, and then the next week, everything's full price. There's not any great sales going on, and it's cold. You see this all the time at stores like Target, Walgreens, and CVS. Not as much with Walmart, because Walmart tends to be pretty standardized on their prices. Yes, they do vary at times, but generally, what an item costs one week is what it's going to cost the next week. So, what I like to say is when you find that store or that sale that is hot, you want to hammer it. As I like to say, strike while the iron is hot. So, while that store or that special is hot, go out there and buy the heck out of it. I put on my screen here, this is replen time, because the way I like to do it is there are various items I replen or replenish and sell over and over again. But I wait patiently until that item has a good sale or promotion and I can buy it cheaper than my competition. And that's when I replen my items and stock up. So, perfect example, Target last week had a buy two, get one free game sale. So what happened? My staff and I, we went to Target's. We bought a bunch of board games because it was a buy two, get one free sale. They also had it for video games and books. So that's an example of a hot opportunity, and it was a 1 week opportunity. It's no longer available this week, but we went out and bought it up, and that's what you got to do. When you find an opportunity, go ahead and hammer it. Now, another way we do this is we've got to learn the store discount policies and codes. Well, what I mean by that is the policies. Do they allow you to stack coupons, for instance, or do they have an app like Target Circle? For those of you guys who are not familiar, Target Circle is just their own basically coupon app, if you will, that applies specifically to Target. Very powerful, by the way. You also want to learn your price codes, like Costco. You saw earlier, Costco is my second best source. And one of the things I'm constantly doing at Costco is I'm looking at all the prices and I'm looking for prices into 97 cents. Well, why am I doing that? Because 97 cents is the Costco clearance code. So if you see an item that say $9.97, that means it's on clearance, or $5.97 or whatever. If it ends in 97 cents, that's their clearance code. So that should be your sign or your key, your alert. Excuse me, I couldn't think of my word. Your alert to pay attention because that may be profitable. Sam's Club, I believe it's if it ends in 1 cent, like $13.21. I want to say if it ends in 1 cent at Sam's Club, that's their clearance code. I don't source Sam's very much, so I could be wrong on that off the top of my head. But you want to learn these things because once again, that's another way we buy low or buy right. Now, we also need to know what's available and what are the prices in these stores. And we can often find this out from the comfort of a computer. We can go to the store's app and it'll oftentimes tell you the price in store and how many they have in stock. Like Walgreens, for instance, their app will do that. Brickseek.com is a free and paid site you can go to that'll tell you different clearance prices from store to store, the quantities, and what have you. It's not 100% accurate, but it's certainly useful. So the last way I want to mention here last thing I want to say in regards to making your money when you buy right, before we get into how do we do this, is, and I shouldn't have to say this, but I feel it's necessary, is when you're doing this, be friendly, be respectful, clean up after yourself, don't make a mess. Make the store employees and managers like you. If they like you, they're a lot more willing to work with you or turn a blind eye, maybe on coupon usage, or if you're a reseller. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, Target's not reseller friendly. Well, technically that's true, but my Targets know what I do. They know who I am. They know I'm a reseller, and for the most part, they like me. Some of them are thrilled to see me because they know I'm going to buy a lot of stuff. They don't care that I'm a reseller. So does Target technically have a no resale policy? Yeah. Do they enforce it? No, not necessarily. But anyway, point being, if you make the employees and managers like you, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Oh, last thing. Sorry, I added this to my presentation. Make sure you learn how to work the websites. And what I mean by that, too, is understand, for instance, if it's a coupon code on the website, how many times can you use it? Can you use it once? Can you use it 3 times? Can you use it infinitely many times? Are you going to get banned if you buy too much? Because store or websites will blacklist you. I've been blacklisted from Kohl's. Target's got me on a hard blacklist online, although there's a way around that I already know. But you want to learn how these websites work because different websites work differently. And you got to learn how to work them, whether it's setting up a new account, whether it's using a VPN, like with Target, whether it's keeping your orders smaller, whether it's only knowing you can only use a coupon once. So you got to set up maybe different emails, learn how to work the websites. All right.
Okay, so I have to say you caught me off guard. I was over here cracking up on
Yep.
mute because you said you have a hard blacklist with Kohl's and you have a blacklist from Target.
Yep.
So yeah, VPNs are really helpful. Have you been able to get past the hard blacklist with Kohl's yet?
Well, actually, I got unblacklisted from Kohl's, but I originally had my account blacklisted, my wife's blacklisted, my mom's blacklisted. Yeah, but they, for whatever reason, they eventually unblacklisted me. It's funny too. The order I did, I had one of the rare 40% coupon codes, and I threw down like a $10,000 order with a 40% off coupon, and yeah, that got flagged mighty hard.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so
Oh
but
my
they've
god! I
unblacklisted
wouldn't.
me. So I'm careful with Kohl's though. I don't put in big orders because I'm constantly worried they're going to blacklist me again. Target, I mean, they'll blacklist me before I hit submit when I do online. They used to be great. I used to be able to do $10,000 plus orders at Target. Then they decided nope. But there's a way around that. I've figured it out. It's a bit tricky, but there is a way around that. So I can still order on Target.com.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes you just got to get creative and beat the system.
Yeah, sometimes you have to game the system. Okay, well, go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about how we buy low or buy right. There are 10 ways. Now, number one's not really a way, but I want to make this point. Avoid paying full price if at all possible. We want to look for opportunities and we want to be creative. That's how we do this. That's one of my reasons I'm not a fan of Walmart is generally speaking, the price is the price. Generally, it doesn't go on sale or anything like that. I mean, yeah, they do rollbacks sometimes, what have you, but generally speaking, you're paying full price, Walmart full price anyway. So let's talk about 10 different ways right here we can knock that price down or lower the price. First one is clearance. Now, I know everybody knows about clearance. Clearance, you certainly don't want to limit yourself to it, but it's a powerful way to buy low. I mean, if you find a good clearance, you can make some really nice money. But we want to learn the store schedules and codes. So, like I mentioned earlier on the codes, I know that when I go to Costco, I know if an item ends in 97 cents, it's a clearance. I know if it ends in 00, it's a manager markdown. So I'm looking for these codes. Um, Store schedules. I know with Target that usually on Wednesdays or Thursdays, that's when they'll mark down their clearance on toys and bedding. Monday is electronics. With seasonal stuff, generally speaking, they'll go 30% clearance the day after a holiday, like Valentine's Day. They went 30% on the 15th. And probably tomorrow they'll go to like 50%. And it does vary from store to store. But my point being, you want to learn these things so you can be there right away and get those good clearance deals before they get bought up. Another way we can buy low or buy right is another basic way, but sales, price drops, rollbacks, whatever you want to call them. But you've got to know when these are going on. That's why I really recommend you check the ads every Sunday morning, or if you're talking about a grocery store, on Wednesday, because for whatever reason, grocery stores tend to reset prices on Wednesday. I don't know why that is. I've just happened to notice it seems to be their cycle for some strange reason. But your big box stores, your Targets, what have you, they run sales usually Sunday through Saturday, and then there's a new week of sales. So know what's on sale and know how long it is on sale for. BOGO sales. BOGO sales are great. BOGO sales are really the same thing as what I just mentioned, it's just in a different form is all. But you'll see these at Target, CVS, Walgreens, other stores all the time. BOGO 50, BOGO free, which simply means, buy one, get one 50% off, buy one, get one free. I mentioned Target had that last week, the buy two, get one free on games. For the less mathematically inclined, I've done the math for you. BOGO 50 is 25% off, BOGO free is 50% off, and so on. So take advantage of BOGO sales because those are powerful discounts. You can get a very nice price drop by taking advantage of those. It's sort of like buying in quantity, but low quantities. Gift card offers or bounce back cash from stores. These are often overlooked, but they're really powerful. For example, Target will always run sales every week, basically. It's usually in the beauty category, but they'll run sales like buy 3 of this item, get a $5 gift card. Well, if you buy 3 of an item, because they'll do something like, okay, if it's $3.99 or above, we'll just say $4. Well, if you buy 3 items of $4 and you get a $5 gift card, that's a big discount right there. If you run your math, that's over a 40% discount right there. Now, the $5 gift card is good for later on, but that's powerful right there. And people often overlook this stuff. Other things like Kohl's Cash, where you get $10 for every 50 you spend, that's 20% back right there. That's powerful. Walgreens has a rewards program. You can get up to 10%, sometimes even better cash back from Walgreens, and that's free money you can use to buy inventory. So that's another way we buy low or we get our price knocked down. Very powerful tool. Another overlooked way, and I overlooked this for many years and I lost a lot of money. Well, I didn't lose money, but I missed out on more profit because I didn't do this. And that's using discounted gift cards. If you go to a site like raise.com or cardcash.com, for instance, you can buy gift cards to a store at a below face value price. For instance, I use Card Cash a lot. Now, I could go to Target and use my red card and get 5% off, which is nice, but I can get even better from cardcash.com. Just a few days ago, I called my rep up. He told me they were doing 9% off. So I put in a $5,000 gift card order. So I got $5,000 in gift cards for $4,550. So that's a built-in discount of 9% right there. Plus, I used a credit card and got an extra 2% right there back. So stuff like that can make a big difference. Now, the Target example is not as big of a difference as some others. Like back in the day, you used to be able on raise.com to get like 20% off at Tuesday morning, for instance, and sometimes 15% at Marshall's or Ross. And that was powerful. That's a big discount by simply using gift cards. And you can still get nice discounts, don't get me wrong, but it's harder to come by those 15 and 20% off ones. Also, by the way, if you ever just like to go out to eat, those are great sites to use there too. You can get 20, 25% off by buying discounted gift cards. It's a nice little thing to do. So another way, I'm actually going to give you guys some examples that show this in just a moment. We want to use coupon apps like Target Circle or SnipSnap. SnipSnap's a free app, by the way, that has coupons for various different websites. And Target Circle is free, and it has various different discounts for Target. We want to use those. Those are powerful tools too. Coupon codes. This obviously is mainly applicable to online arbitrage, but you can get coupon codes all the time that can be great codes like 20% off, 25% off, sometimes better. And we can find these coupon codes, at all kinds of places. We can find them at Rakuten.com or the Rakuten app, Retail Me Not, sometimes on the website the website itself. Sometimes they'll show you the code. There are all kinds of places. But we really want to take advantage of coupon codes because that's another way we buy cheaper or buy lower. All right, last 3. We want to use cashback sites like Rakuten because if you use a cashback site like Rakuten.com, all you got to do is literally click the mouse button twice and you can get cash back just for shopping. I recently got my quarterly cashback check from Rakuten.com and it was almost for $1,700. And all I had to do was just simply go through Rakuten before doing my order online. It's that simple.
Oh my goodness. And you can do that as a Chrome extension, but yes.
Yep. And that's what I mean by 2 clicks.
Yes.
I have my Chrome extension. I click it. Then I just click, Click shop or open trip or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 clicks. Boom. I'm getting free money right there. In fact, 2 days ago, no, Sunday, it was Sunday. No, wait, it was Monday. It was my birthday. It was Monday. I couldn't resist shopping on my birthday, even though I took the day off. Why? Because Rakuten ran a sale, those dogs, where they were giving 10% back at Disney and all these other stores, and I couldn't resist that. So, I'm throwing down four-figure orders and getting 10% cash back through Rakuten by simply doing a few clicks. So, I mean, it's free money. It's great. You got to do that.
Oh my goodness. I love that strategy all day
Yeah.
long.
Oh yeah, I know one girl who had $10,000 in cash back for her quarterly. It was crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's free money, guys. Do it. Another thing, store cards or programs. I mentioned earlier, Target Red Card will give you 5% off your purchase. Kohl's Card, if you get a Kohl's Card, you can use their coupons, like 30% off coupons. Big Lots Rewards. Big Lots Rewards is free. It's not a credit card or anything, but you'll get different discount opportunities that you would not otherwise get. So use these things because those are further ways we can drive our price down lower. Last way before we get to some examples and stuff. Use your own credit card. I use the heck out of my credit cards and I use rewards cards. And these bonuses add up. Believe me, my wife and I went to Australia round trip tickets for basically for free on credit card miles. It was great. I bought so much stuff and haven't been able to travel because of the stupid coronavirus that I've got $13,000 just chilling in free money on one card for travel right now. So I'm looking forward to doing some travel. But my point being is it adds up. Now, make sure you can handle your credit responsibly because if you can't, don't use a credit card and make sure you pay it off so you're not paying interest because if you blow all your rewards by paying interest, it doesn't do you any good. So I use my credit cards, but I pay them off right away. In fact, it'll get to the point where they won't even let me pay it because it's like you made two payments in the last week. You're like, you got to wait. You can't pay it right now. So I'm always paying it off. Like pay it off, reap the rewards. All right. So let's go over some real life examples of how we do this. I want to talk to you guys about stacking and how we can use it to buy below wholesale. And all stacking is here, whoops, excuse me. Stacking is simply combining discounts. I showed you 10 ways on the previous slide we can get discounts or lower the price. So by stacking, all I mean is we're combining those discounts. The more we can use, the better, because that's the lower we can make the price. So we want to get creative and we want to stack these discounts. That's how we can do below wholesale buying in both RA and OA. Keep in mind, guys, in this business or in anything really, you want to do what others are not doing. Be willing to do what others are not, unless you want to be just part of the crowd that is struggling. You got to separate yourself from the crowds. You've got to do what others are not doing. And you've got to remember, once again, you make your money when you buy right. So that's why it's so important that we stack these and buy low. Because even if we're not buying below wholesale, the lower we can buy, the more money we can make. So let's talk about some real examples from both the past and the present. And on the following here, I know not all of you are going to be mathematically inclined, but focus not so much on the numbers. Don't let the numbers freak you out. I tried to make it simple, but don't focus so much on the numbers. Focus on the concept because that's what matters. So I want to show you guys 4 actual real life examples that I've taken advantage of. The first 2 are going to be Target, but I love sourcing Target, but I'm going to show you other stores too. So the first one is Target, and this was an example from a little while back. It was a Q4 a few years ago. But I love using this example because I think it just illustrates things so well, and it was a really good sale. So Paw Patrol figures, and I'm talking about kind of the car and the figure. You guys have seen them before, and if you go into Target, you'll see them now. They're $11.99 full price at Target. They're about the same price at Walmart. Well, Target was running a sale where it was a buy two, get one free sale. And they do this all the time. Well, I shouldn't say all the time, but they do this somewhat frequently on different items, whether it's Paw Patrol, PJ Masks, beauty, board games, what have you. Anyway, point being, it was buy two, get one free. And mathematically speaking, that's the equivalent of a 33.33% discount. Now, I kept the numbers simple, and instead of using $11.99, I just used $12. So if we get 33.33% off, that's a $4 discount. So we knock our price down from $12 to $8. So right away, that's a nice little discount. But we were able to do even better because we stacked some opportunities here. They didn't run it last year, which was a bummer to me because that was the first time in a few years they didn't run it. But prior to last year, Target had every single year on Black Friday ran a special where if you bought like $50 and stuff, you got a coupon for 20% off a future purchase. So I had one of those coupons. I actually had a lot of them, but that's beside the point. I had one of them, and I used that to get 20% off my purchase. So that $8 price now became 20% less. Well, $1.60 is a 20% discount off of $8. So that brought our price down to $6.40. That's a pretty dang good price. We're almost at half price now. But we can do even better because on top of that, I was able to use a Target Red Card and get 5% off that price. Now, that's only 32 cents. It's not a lot, but it's still something.
Yes,
So
it
that brought
is.
our price finally down to $6.08. And as you can see, all we did is we combined 3 different ways to lower our price. We combined a buy 2, get 1 free sale with a 20% coupon with a Target Red Card discount. We stacked 3 different ways there of the previous examples I showed you guys. It's nothing hard. It's a simple process, but it's so powerful. I mean, we paid $6.08. That's almost a 50% discount. And
Yep.
that's below wholesale for Paw Patrol. I know this because I've seen what Paw Patrol costs wholesale. And I can tell you right now, you're not paying $6.08 wholesale. You're going to pay closer to $8 or $9 wholesale. So this was a very powerful example. And once again, this example applies to various different items. Don't get so much caught up in the numbers as the basic concept. All we did was we just stacked 3 different discounts. And as a result, we got a great price and we were able to beat pretty much all of our competition. Because I can tell you right now, your competition's not buying it this cheap. Very few are. All right, Nicole, were you going to say something?
Sorry. No, I just thought that when you said you can't buy Paw Patrol for less than $8 or $9, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
Yep.
great discount. The fact that you got it down using all of those methods
Yep.
is ridiculous. It's
Yep.
ridiculous, guys.
And on top of that, I did not have to pay any freight either.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right.
Yep.
It's the difference between wholesale, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, let's take another example. This one is a Target also, and it was actually an online arbitrage opportunity. So, kids' character sheets at Target for a twin size are generally $21.99. And I love selling kids' character sheets. And for those of you guys who don't know what kids' character sheets are, I'm just talking about characters like Mickey Mouse, Paw Patrol, PJ Masks, what have you, just characters. So, those are fantastic sellers, incidentally. Anyway, their standard twin size is usually $21.99 for full price. And even that price, you can make money on it sometimes, but we don't want to pay full price. Remember, we want to avoid paying full price. Well, Target ran a 1-day only online sale. By the way, this is before Target put me on a hard ban on online, that is. So they ran a 1-day sale for 40% off, which was, oh man, that was a great sale. I wish I bought more. But at any rate, that alone is powerful because 40% of $22, once again, I just rounded the numbers to keep it simple, is $8.80. So right away, that 40% discount dropped us down to $13.20. And that alone was more than enough to make these profitable and great buys. But once again, we're always looking to lower the price. We want to be creative. We want to be better than our competition. Granted, that alone will probably make you better than your competition. But let's do even better. Once again, I had that 20% coupon because this happened after Black Friday. So I was able to apply the 20% coupon to my entire purchase. And to this day, I wish I'd bought more. But at any rate, 20% of $13.20 is $2.64. So that brought our price down to $10.56. But we can do better. If we paid with a red card or a discount gift card, but in this case, let's just say a red card, that's another 5% or 53 cents. And that brought our price all the way down to $10.03. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these sheets sell in the $30 to $40 range. So I was able to buy these for basically 10 bucks, turn around and sell them for 30, 35, 40, $45. I mean, this was a great sale. I wish I'd bought more. So the point being, though, that's over a 50% discount, which is better than wholesale Keystone pricing. And for those who don't know, Keystone is just half of retail. So, I mean, this was a killer discount. And by the way, Target still runs sales like this. They'll run a 30% off sale online, and you can price match it in store. Sometimes they'll have like a Target Circle offer. You might be able to stack with it. You can always stack it with a red card. So these opportunities exist. Now, this was a crazy good opportunity, and to find one like this is rare, but they still have great opportunities that are similar to this one. But once again, understand the concept. All we did is we simply stacked a sale with a coupon with a credit or debit card discount. It's that simple. Nothing fancy. We didn't cut coupons out of a Sunday paper. We didn't have to do any great math. We just simply took advantage of discounts. And it's so powerful. That was a very profitable sale.
And the other thing is, the more frequently you do this, the more second nature it becomes over time. Like it becomes, you do it on autopilot. You don't even have to force yourself. If you're starting off and you're doing a checklist every single time of checking all these different things based on the different store, you'll get to a place where you just do it on autopilot. It'll be like
Absolutely.
anything else that you do.
Yep. Not only that, you'll learn what sells. Like I can look at an item and I'll know it's profitable just by looking at it. Because once you do this long enough, you start to get a feel for what items work and what items don't work from a profitability standpoint.
That is absolutely true. And here's the other thing. The key to that, to getting that feel, and it becomes second nature for you, is you just have to consistently take action. You have to
Absolutely.
take action. It's, you can go through a simulator of learning how to ride a bike, but it is not until you get on a real bike and you actually ride, do you actually get a feel for what it takes to balance, what it takes to balance and pedal at the same time. So a simulation does not, like, just studying this and learning it and learning it and learning it is helpful, but it's not going to do anything until you start putting it into practice and you do it over and over and over again. Then it becomes second nature. There's a difference between a person that just learned how to ride a bike by starting off with a simulator, then gets on a real bike, and then you check back with them 2 weeks later and they're just riding. They can do wheelies and they can do hands off. Like, it's the same thing. You have to just be consistent.
Yep, absolutely.
Take action.
Yep, and be constantly learning. I mean, to this day, I always think to myself, man, if I just knew back when I started, if I knew what I knew then, what I know now, I think I worded that right. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. Like, oh my gosh, I could have made so much more money. But it's just part of it. You take action, you make some mistakes along the way, and you learn and you get better. I mean, that's just the process. All right. Well, enough Target. Let's talk Big Lots for another example, because I wanted to switch stores. And I'm going to also give you something that's more recent and not something from the past. So this was from, let me think. This is from about a week and a half ago. So there was a certain Easter candy at Target, Big Lots, and it's still there, by the way. But at any rate, it's $2.79 full price at Big Lots. For comparison's sake, this same candy is $2.48 at Walmart, which is a nice price. But at Big Lots, we can do better. Now, we can also do better at other stores, but I'm just using Big Lots for an example. And this one's a pretty simple example, too, but this is also a nice illustration of how simple this is. So there was a Big Lots Rewards coupon for 20% off. Well, right away, if you take 20% off $2.79, that's 56 cents. So right away, you're down to $2.23. So you're already beating anyone who's shopping at Walmart by a quarter. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but trust me, it does add up. But we can do even better. If you've gone to Snip Snap, by the way, it's still there if you go to Snip Snap this very moment, you can get another 20% off coupon for Big Lots. And it's a separate 20% coupon. And Big Lots allows you to stack this. Now, you might run into some managers who don't want you to stack it, but unless they have recently changed their policy, you can stack it. I stacked it fine at the first Big Lots. The second Big Lots cashier or lady was kind of giving me a hard time, but I got my way. So anyway, we got another 20% off right there. So if you take 20% off of $2.23, that's 45 cents, which brings your price down to $1.78. So all we did was use 2 digital coupons. Very, very simple process. But as a result, we got our price down to $1.78 as opposed to $2.79. We got it 70 cents or 28% below Walmart. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but if you're doing multi-packs or variety packs, aka bundles, trust me, that's a big difference. And even if you're not, the fact that you're buying 28% below a lot of your competition is very powerful. You've got more wiggle room that they don't have. That allows you to beat your competition. And once again, this was simple. All we did was stack two discounts. Very, very simple. Two digital coupons. Easy. Like I said, this may not sound like a lot, but trust me, it dang sure adds up. And if you start looking at your actual numbers on your return on investment, you might be surprised at how big of a difference that makes. Because trust me, it makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference, and Big Lots is one of my favorite stores. Anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, Big Lots is great, especially if you're a smaller seller. My problem with Big Lots is I can't buy the quantity I need. So I want to buy big quantities. It's just hard to do at Big Lots. But if you're buying smaller quantities, oh, it's a fantastic store.
So I
Anyway,
will tell you, I have to tell you a quick Big Lots story, then we'll move on.
yeah.
So after Halloween, I want to say it was probably 2 weeks before Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
2019, maybe
Hmm.
2018, I can't remember. So we did the shopping for profits because we do it every second Saturday. And we went to Big Lots and they had all of these Halloween costumes that were sitting at the front of the store. And they had them at, I can't remember, I think it was like 75% off or some crazy number. And the guy said, if you want to buy the entire display, now the display had at least, I don't know, 300 costumes, maybe.
Wow.
He said, if you want to buy the entire display, you can buy the entire display. He gave a flat number, which was more than 90% off.
Oh, wow.
So every once in a while, you'll get a store that
Hmm.
may actually offer you something especially. So one of my strategies is to always buy, of course, you do too, but after holiday clearance.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go back to the store after it's been a few weeks and they still haven't been able to get rid of certain things, because normally they have a window where they just box it up and save it for next year. And sometimes you'll catch those stores like, we're not boxing this up. If you want to buy it, you can have the whole display for this flat number.
Yep. You get some great prices that way sometimes.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. All right. Last example. Then I'm going to kind of get to wrapping this up because time wise, we're probably getting close. All right, so let's talk about someone from today. And by today, I do mean February 17th, because you guys are going to be seeing the recorded version of this when you see it. So, Walgreens. All right, this very week, this very day, there is a sale on an item I sell a lot of. I'm not going to give it up. Sorry, guys. But that item is on sale for a BOGO 50 sale. In other words, buy one, get one half off, or 25%. Now, to be clear, and I should have put this in there, this item normally costs $32.99. So that 25% discount, that BOGO 50, is an $8.25 discount. By the way, I'm buying this online, although you can get it in store too. So there's your math right there. That $32.99 price, take off $8.25, brings our price down to $24.74. Now, at the same time, this very day, Walgreens also has a 20% off code that applies to this product. So, whoops. Oh, there we go. As you guys can see, I'm not very tech savvy. My stupid PowerPoint popped up there. I didn't even learn how to use PowerPoint like 2 years ago. True story. Anyway, so moving on. So, like I was saying, you get 20% off of $24.74 because you're using the coupon code. That's another $4.95. So now, instead of being at $24.74, we're down to $19.79. That's a pretty good price. Now, on top of this, because my birthday is this month, Walgreens made the tragic mistake on their part of giving me 10 times cash back points for the entire month of my birthday. And believe me, I'm taking advantage of it. So every single one of these items I buy at $19.79, I'm getting back almost $2 in Walgreens cash back. And trust me, that adds up. I've gotten a lot of free money at Walgreens. But this is a nice little offer because I'm simply stacking two offers. I'm stacking a BOGO 50 with a 20% off coupon code. And for an added bonus, like I said, I'm getting 10 times the points. On top of that, and this will be my next bullet point, but I'll just jump ahead anyway. On top of that, I'm also getting 3% cash back from Rakuten. So I'm getting more money for free there. But at any rate, going back to this particular item, So at 1979, that's 60% or 40% off of retail. And like I said, we're getting free money on top of it because I'm getting my Walgreens rewards money, I'm getting Rakuten money, and I'm actually getting credit card miles too on top of that. So this is simply all we're doing with stacking is we're seeing how many discounts or how many opportunities we can combine. And by doing that, we can beat our competition by buying lower. And once again, if you buy low enough, you can't help but make money. So there's the last bullet point, like I just mentioned, Rakuten cashback and credit card points. All right. So I wanted to wrap this up with just a few things really fast. Some websites and apps I recommend, and just a few wholesale notes. So I really recommend in this business, make sure you have both the Amazon buyer and seller apps. They're both free. There's no reason not to have them. Once again, the buyer app will give you better results than the seller app. It's less user friendly from a seller standpoint, but you're going to get better results. And once again, we want to do what other people are not doing. Make sure you get something like your Rakuten app, whether it's Rakuten, Top Cashback, or whatever. There are all kinds of sites, but they're free. They're free, and you give you money. It's free money. There's no reason not to use them unless you don't like free money. I like free money though. Once again, discounted gift cards. I really recommend you use these. Go to cardcash.com, raise.com, what have you. There are various different discounted gift cards, cashback sites. Those are just my two favorites. Make sure you have an accounting software. I use Inventory Lab. It's a pretty simple software. It's a good software. I like it. If you're selling on Walmart, you may want to use something like eCom Dash or something else. If you're on eBay, I don't know. I don't sell on eBay anymore, so I don't know. But get some accounting software, point being. If you want to learn Target, I do recommend both totallytarget.com, give you some good free information. Make sure you get the Target app, because if you get the Target app, the Target circle is inside that app. And that's where all those just easy discounts are that you can simply get for free and use up to 6 times a day. Helium 10 is, well, Helium 10 is both free and paid. I love Helium 10. It's a great software. If you do listing creation like I do, I'd say Helium 10 is pretty much a must. But Helium 10 is good for things besides listing creation also. It's great for keyword research. If nothing else, get their free version. They have a free version you can get that offers you good tools that you can use like once or twice a day. If you get the paid version, it's $97 or more a month, depending on which version you get. And there's a code right there, my affiliate code, that will give you a discount if you want to subscribe to Helium 10. But I love it. I really recommend it. Seller Bench. Seller Bench is just a reimbursement company, and there are various different companies. I like Seller Bench, and I've used them, but I really recommend it. Instead of sitting there driving yourself nuts, wondering what you can get reimbursed for, let someone else do it. Like, I don't want to sit there and go through all my sales and all the refunds and try to figure out where Amazon missed a reimbursement. I don't know how to do all that to the best way it can be done. And I don't need to. I'll let someone else do it. It's just going to save you so much time and headache. And they're going to find things you probably wouldn't find anyway. So Seller Bench, they basically, all they do is they take 25% of whatever they find. So they don't get paid unless they find you reimbursements. And I'm okay paying 25% because I don't want to do it. And they're going to find things I'm not going to find anyway. So it pays for itself. So there's no cost basically, because once again, they don't get paid unless they get you a reimbursement. So, I mean, if they reimburse you $100 or find you $100 in reimbursement, they get 25, you keep the 75, and you don't even have to deal with seller support. You don't have to go look through all that stuff. It's great. I really, really, really recommend it. When I first signed up for a reimbursement software or a company, I think I got back, they found like over $5,000 in reimbursements that Amazon had missed. And all I had to do was sign up for it, let them do it. And I would never have found most of those on my own. So for the love of goodness, save yourself some money and some headache and get Seller Bench or some other company that will do reimbursements for you. I really recommend a repricer. I personally use repriceit.com. There are a lot to choose from. people have their own favorites. I just use reprice.com because I've used it for years. I know how to use it, and it's worked for me, and it's cheap. So the way I look at it, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I like it personally. You may or may not like it, but I really recommend a repricing software. True story, 2 years ago, in March and April, my sales took a big dip, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me what the heck was going on. And then I finally realized it. My repricer wasn't working because the Amazon MWS connection or whatever it is, I'd forgotten to renew that. So I'd been sitting there for like a month and a half with no repricer, and that's why my sales took a dive. So get a repricer because it will increase your sales, and you don't want to be sitting there doing your manual repricing all day long. Anyway, I really recommend one. Lead lists. I like lead lists. The nice thing about lead lists, aside from the fact they'll provide you profitable leads, is it gives you an easy way to see what items are profitable. That's honestly how I cracked the home category originally, is I started to see, oh, okay, so these are the profitable items in that category. And I wouldn't have necessarily figured that out on my own. I mean, I guess I would have eventually, but you can look at these lists and you start to see the themes, the common threads, and what items are profitable. So these are just some of the lists here. I subscribe to every single one of those, by the way. My favorite is FBAleadlist.com. In my opinion, that's the best of those four I mentioned. It's $150 a month, so it's a bit pricey, but it's, in fact, come to think of it, maybe $180. But it's a very good lead list, and it can make you a lot more money than that every month. But the other ones, they're good too. They can make you some money. That just happens to be my favorite one. Leads on location, I put search on Facebook because that's how you find them. Just go to Facebook and type in leads on location. You'll probably have to get on their waiting list, but it's not a bad one either. So anyway, I recommend lead lists. They are useful. All right, last thing. Touch on a little bit of wholesale really fast. I want to give you guys a few wholesale friendly, Amazon friendly sources. UPDinc.net, they're over in Vernon, California. I've used them, never had any problems. They're Amazon friendly. They're good. They don't care if you're an Amazon seller. There's their website. There's their phone number. Just go over to their website, sign up for an account. So, like I said, they're Amazon friendly. Another one I've used, they have, I believe, warehouses on both the East and West Coast, is Value Source. That's their phone number. You can call and ask them about getting on their list of basically what they have in stock. I've done good business with them. Never had a problem. UCC distribution, I forgot, whatever. I believe they're also in Vernon, California. It makes sense. I'm in California, so I've got some California sources. But there's their website, there's their phone number, and just like UPD, they're Amazon friendly. They sell all kinds of licensed toys, blankets, stuff like that. So they have quality items. It's not generic trash. It's actual brand name licensed stuff. Golden Sales, they're actually an umbrella basically company. They represent various different distributors of different toy companies. There's their website. You can check them out, but they're also Amazon friendly. Some of the companies they represent may not be Amazon friendly, but they do have various companies they represent that are Amazon friendly. Four Seasons, if you've ever been to the ASD show, which I'm about to mention, you've seen them. They have a huge, every year, a huge, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? A huge booth at ASD every year. And they sell anything and everything pretty much. In fact, I think Kohl's, the store Kohl's, gets some of their inventory from Four Seasons. So, I mean, they got everything. They got toys, home goods, kitchen, beauty, what have you. There's their website. There's their phone number. Finally, ASD is a trade show, the ASD show. It's usually twice a year in Las Vegas. Well, due to the coronavirus, both shows got canceled last year. And this year, they're doing it differently. They're doing the ASD Roadshow. So instead of Vegas, they're doing it in Dallas, Phoenix, and Orlando. And you can go to asdonline.com to see this. And there's a ton of wholesale sources and closeout sources at this show. I mean, tons of them. It's an enormous show. But you don't have to go to the show. You can just go to their website, register for free. Yes, free. And it will give you access to numerous wholesale and closeout vendors. So I really recommend you do that. Now, if you are interested in attending one of the shows, I'm going to go to the Dallas one and the Orlando one and maybe Phoenix. I haven't decided on Phoenix yet. And if you want to join me and have me show you around, I'm willing to do that. But I believe off the top of my head, Dallas is March 24th and 25th.
Yep.
Orlando is April 8th and 9th, and Phoenix is a little after that. It's like April
Phoenix is
20th.
April 28th through the 29th. So this is
Oh,
what
there you go. Okay.
so
Yeah.
March 24th and 25th, JR, I will meet you up because it's at the Dallas Market Center. Okay.
Yep.
So there you go. So we can all hang out together.
Yep. Sounds great. I'd love to. I love meeting up with people at these shows. So yeah, I mean, if you want to meet up, feel free. Shoot me a line over on Facebook or what have you. I don't mind showing you around. I don't mind just talking, hanging out. I love talking Amazon. So these are sort
I'm
of
getting ready to go
vacations
put.
for me.
Yeah, well, we haven't really had any real vacations. So March 24th, 25th, Dallas. That's on a Wednesday and a Thursday for those who are paying attention. And so I already live here, so
Yep.
I,
Easy one for you.
yeah, I already live here. And then they still have the Vegas one. It says details are coming soon, August the 22nd through the 25th.
Yeah, they may have the summer ASD show, depending on obviously how the coronavirus situation plays out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been to it countless times, and I plan to be at the one in Vegas in August or whatever month they have it this year. So yeah, I
All
mean, if you want
right.
to join me, feel free. I don't mind. Yeah, shoot me a line on Facebook, or if you have any questions, feel free. I'll answer you. Um, so anyway, that's about it. I've got my website mentioned earlier on the very first page, knockthatpricedown.com. And I'm thinking about also maybe starting a coaching program, taking on a few students in the very near future. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll maybe put out some more details on that. But yeah, I mean, there's that. And what else, Nicole? Anything else I need to mention here?
Well, this is what I will say. JR just dropped a whole bunch of good nuggets, gave them out. He just literally just walked in the room and just threw out money. So whoever is going to catch the money, that's the key. The people who take action, take the information and do something with it, those are the people that are going to really do something like amazing in their business this year. He is a retail arbitrager. And again, he made 1.4 million in sales. His profits were nothing to sneeze at, and he clearly knows what he's doing. So somewhere on this page, either at the bottom or at the top, you'll find a link to his program, Knock That Price Down. You'll also find some additional information about JR, all of his social media assets and everything. And so, again, he says he's going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area around March the 24th and 25th. I already live here. So, of course, I'm going to track down JR. Yeah, we're going to go hang out. Go do
Oh yeah,
something.
and I'll be in Orlando also, like I said, for that one. Making a vacation out of that one. I love Florida,
There
and
you
maybe I'll
go.
be in Phoenix. We'll see.
All right. And so for all those people who have been apprehensive that e-commerce, doing retail arbitrage cannot retire you, that you can't make an income or a living, that you can't make real money at it, JR stands before you, and so does my business partner, so do I, that you literally can make a living, keep the lights on, and keep water coming out of your faucet doing retail arbitrage. It is entirely possible. So, with that being said, I am so glad that you participated in this summit, JR. I'm so glad that you're here. If he's going to be offering a program, make sure that once you register, we'll be sharing JR's information so that way, if he offers a coaching program, I'm sure some of you are interested in signing up with him because he's awesome. All right, well, JR, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. So this has been another masterclass for ecom sellers, and we are going to say goodbye for now.